My name is Joe. 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Lake County with our 4 young children and settled down. In that time, we've worked, worshiped, played, and raised our family. Today, I've met the people and discovered the businesses and organizations that make up a vibrant, dynamic community. Join us as we share with you what makes South Lake great. I'm Joe, and Joe knows South Lake. Good morning and welcome. Happy Tuesday. Oh my God, I'm glad it's here. If I were to be completely honest though, part of what makes me so excited is I'm getting ready to go visit my mom and dad who I haven't seen in a couple of years. So I'm going to head out this weekend. So I'm only a few days away from that trip. I'm not actually looking forward to the travel, but I'm really looking forward to seeing my sister, my mom and my dad and some other family and friends up there that I haven't, you connect on Facebook, I haven't seen. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited about something today. It is and it's hard because for a lot of you, Veterans Day was a day off, so it's going to be kind of like a weird short week. So be happy. It's a short week in an amazing South Lake morning. Okay, what do we have for you today? Today is actually Chicken Soup for the Soul Day, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about meatless burgers and how all these big chains like Burger King, etc. are going with meatless burgers. We're going to talk on the Cup of Joe. We're going to do a series this week on discipline. So we're going to talk discipline, how to get it, what it is. And finally, our guest today, a dear friend of mine, a fellow South Lake business leaders. Yes, I am in so many groups. It's almost funny. John and I met at South Lake Business Leaders. He's a veteran himself, and he is the owner and the co-owner and founder of Work It Out Ministries and Counseling with his dear wife. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him because he's going to tell us why people get a little crazy at the holidays and how, to give us some tips to deal with the holidays emotionally, and maybe how we can have a little understanding for those in our families who might not be watching and getting these tips. I'm really looking forward to that. When we come back, because we're going to hear from those sponsors, when we come back, we're going to get started. See you in a minute.
Hello, my name is Michael Singh with Singh Insurance and Financial Services. Our goal is to build trust based on a clear understanding of how your insurance policy protects you, your family, and even your business. When was the last time you took a good hard look at your insurance coverage? Would you be open to the possibility of reviewing your policy with me? One review of your policy can save you valuable time and money. Call me today to set up a review of what may be available to you.
Are you tired of having drugs or alcohol ruin your life? Do you need to get off pain pills, but still maintain pain relief? My office in Tavares has programs to help you. While not covered by insurance, program fees are affordable. My name is Alan Zupkin. I'm board certified and have helped thousands of patients achieve these goals. Please call me for further information.
And welcome back. I always love to hear from my sponsors. You guys all know this. They hold a special place in my heart. And people like Dr. Zubkin and Mike Singh, they just really are absolute experts in their field. So you really should reach out to them. Okay, Chicken Soup for the Soul Day. It was actually kind of a weird day, because when I'm looking for the day to what to focus on, it's actually Pizza with the Works except Anchovies Day. I mean, how much of a jerk can you be? It's either Pizza with the Works or not, right? What else? It was something else. It was Chocolate Cappuccino Day or something else. But I selected Chicken Soup for the Soul Day because that's kind of the way I like to approach Jono South Lake with all the Cup of Joes. The Chicken Soup for the Soul. Chicken soup, obviously, it's comforting, it's warm. The beauty of chicken soup is it does no harm. So it may not help, but it certainly ain't going to hurt. It's warm and comforting. We don't know in Florida much about really cold days. But if you're from up north, chicken soup is a mainstay from like this time of year to when the snow starts to melt. Chicken Soup for the Soul is much that way. The book of great fame by Jack Canfield. actually is the concept is to comfort the soul. If you want to celebrate chicken soup for the soul today, it's very easy. Read something inspirational. Do something that soothes your soul or improves your life, and you might even be able to count passing on the cup of joe today, which means you'll have to share the show. So, if you're on the socials, you should like, love, and share. Just want to do that. More shameless plug. Meatless burgers. I got this idea last night when I was watching Burger King ad. This is a big thing. There's a big trend towards vegan, towards keto. Actually, I think keto allows meat. I'm not sure. I get confused at all of them. So there's a big thing, a big demand, particularly among Gen Z and millennials for this kind of product. And if you're going to get it, you should get it from somebody like Karen Trawick, who does a black bean burger, from somebody like Vita 365. Karen Trawick's place is Get Back to Basics. The Vita 365, again, they do an amazing veggie burger that they make there. My problem with these big corporations like Burger King is 90% of their stuff has been filler and soy and all of this other stuff. There's a reason that McDonald's doesn't say 2 all beef patties anymore, because they don't use all beef patties. 80% soy and filler in the McDonald's meat. I mean, unless they're selling the premium, and even then, the FDA allows them to call it meat if it's under a certain percentage of filler. So the idea that they're going to this meatless thing, it's not all that hard. All they had to do was increase the filler, right? What's in these burgers? Don't take a chance. I'm sure they're just as unhealthy and just as nasty. All right, cup of joe. I know, you got an opinion about that, Jay? Meatless burgers. Do you do any eating at places like McDonald's and Burger King?
My favorite place to eat a burger is actually Burgerim. It's Burger IM. It's over by Kiki's. That place is awesome. And in fact, their fries are probably the most underrated fries in history. Have you had a chance to go to that location, Joe?
No, I haven't. I actually, if I really want a high quality burger that's on the high end of price as well, I tend to go to the Crooked Spoon. Again, the price is high, but the burger is amazing. Outstanding, freaky, amazing.
Have you ever had a Crystal Burger before?
No.
Crystals? Okay.
No.
Well, Crystal Burgers are the very, very small hamburgers. Well, Burgerim, which is this joint right here, they have the smaller burgers. It's a smaller portion burger, and they are delicious. I recommend that you go try it. In fact, Joe, we'll take this little coupon that we got at the Taste of South Lake, and you and I will go have some Burgerim pretty soon.
I like that idea. Maybe we can talk to them, Miss Doris. Like, we'll take Miss Doris. We're not going to leave her out on this. We'll do a staff lunch, and maybe we can talk to them about. I don't know. Maybe what I'd like to try to do, Jay. I'd like to try to get some of these guys that we talk to give us a discount for the week. And that can be part of the show. Anyways, that's another. So, okay, discipline. Look, the biggest thing I want to talk about discipline is it sometimes gets a bad rap. Jarheads are known for discipline, and the truth is, I am very disciplined in some things in my life. But if you want to change what is discipline? Discipline is simply the ability to do something uncomfortable consistently over the course of time. Now, I know so many people say, well, I'm undisciplined. You're only undisciplined because you've never tried to be. Discipline is actually just the action of doing a habit. Now, I heard something this weekend at a church in a sermon that was absolutely amazing. Your system is perfectly designed for the results you are getting. The truth is, if you want to change your results, you need to change your system. So let's talk about Joe's weight. I love my black. And the reason I wear it is because I don't look near as big as I am. And if you compare a picture of me in my red shirt to a picture of me in my black shirt, I actually look 25 pounds lighter. I certainly look less wide. If I want to change that, I have to change some things. I have to engage in the discipline of eating differently and exercise. Now, this week we're going to talk about discipline, and I'm going to cover some subjects where you can put discipline in your life simply and easily to change the results you're getting. So I want you to stay tuned for that. Just for today, I want you to think about, and again, I'm going to ask you to write it down. Write down a couple of areas of your life that you don't feel that you're disciplined, but you would like to make some changes in. You know, whether it's you want a better relationship, you want to feel closer to the Lord, you want to be in better health, you want to improve your business, all of these things. And I'm going to give you some simple things this week that to increase you can become disciplined in areas of your life. Simple tricks you'll be able to apply across all areas, but I'm going to focus it in certain subjects. So, with that said, we are going to go to somebody who is very disciplined, my friend John Cothron, owner and founder of Work It Out Counseling and Ministries. This is quite a fascinating subject, and he's going to give us some tips to surviving the holidays emotionally. And we all know that there are people that will make us crazy, and sometimes we're the person making other people crazy. You don't have to avoid your family. You just have to know how to deal with it. So when we come back, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, John is going to be with us. So I'll see you in a minute.
Hello, my name is Michael Singh with Singh Insurance and Financial Services. Our goal is to build trust based on a clear understanding of how your insurance policy protects you, your family, and even your business. When was the last time you took a good hard look at your insurance coverage? Would you be open to the possibility of reviewing your policy with me? One review of your policy can save you valuable time and money. Call me today to set up a review of what may be available to you.
Welcome to Erica's Tea Room. Located in the heart of downtown Claremont, this specialty tea shop offers a traditional high tea experience that can be enjoyed with family and friends. While here, you can choose from over 100 teas from all over the world, and a multitude of teapots are available for purchase. Join us for lunch or choose from one of our special evening events. Call to make a reservation. Erica's Tea Room, making memories with every cup.
The best things in life aren't items we can grab and hold. They are the moments that grab and hold us. Moments that captivate us, inspire us, and enrich us. Moments that bring joy, strength, and peace. At Singh Insurance and Financial Services, we help you to treasure these times by being there when life's most difficult moments arise. Through our services, you will find independence, flexibility, health, and security that will prosper and protect your life. Whether you are driving that new car, buying that new home, opening that new business, or building a new family, we provide you the peace of mind and freedom to enjoy life's best things. Your next moment is waiting. Are you ready?
Hello, I'm Mary Rhodes with the mortgage firm, your local mortgage lender. I've helped thousands of families achieve the dream of homeownership in Lake County, and I would love to help you. Our team has over 30 years of experience helping first-time homebuyers, veterans, move-up buyers, seasoned investors, and more. Please read our reviews and visit us at mortgagefirmpros.com.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors. Welcome back. Okay, again, love to hear from my sponsors. I really appreciate each and every one of them. With us today is John Cothron, my dear friend, fellow South Lake business leader. And yes, South Lake Business Leaders is the name of an organization we both belong to. That's actually how I met John. And that's why I always recommend that you get out in your community and you meet people. Okay, John is... Welcome, John.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here.
Good to be here.
John is the co-owner and co-founder. I'm assuming your wife.
Yes.
She does all of his tech stuff and a lot of his marketing.
She does.
So I'm sure, like my wife, she keeps the engine moving, right?
Yes, she does.
He is the co-owner and co-founder of Work It Out Ministries and Counseling. Now I got to put my glasses on to read the rest of this. He is a licensed mental health counselor. He is a certified trainer from the National Academy of Sports Medicine. He is a weight loss and corrective exercise specialist. He is a 20-year veteran of the Army Infantry. You were a Bradley Gunner and...
Bradley Master Gunner, drill sergeant.
So I thought it was, he was a drill sergeant. There you go. That's why he's so in such good shape. That's where all his hair went. He was a drill sergeant. So he is a 20-year veteran, and I find it really cool because when I meet people who do things that John does, is the trainer isn't quite a surprise, right? I know a lot of guys get out of the service, they become trainers or somewhere in the health field. But the counseling is quite unique. You know, how did tell us what is Work It Out Counseling? How did you come up with putting those two things together?
Well, it comes from a period of time when I was working as a contractor, and I was actually in Kuwait for a couple of years. My wife and I were struggling a little bit, and whenever I got back, we went through some counseling, and that actually helped to save our marriage and our relationship. So as the contracting started to die out and the government was deciding to, like, hey, we need to reduce the amount of contractors that we have. So, by the way, you were the last one hired, so you're the first one out. I decided to go through the vocational rehab program with the VA and go to counseling because I also know the struggles of our veterans that when they deploy and they come home, and they're suffering from post-traumatic stress at the time, but also their family suffers right along with them, even though they're not realizing what's going on. They just know that mom or dad things are getting explosive and crazy.
It's funny that you say that because when I got out of the service, nobody really believed in PTSD.
Right.
It was an excuse. It was some psychological thing like an Oedipus concept, that people use to excuse their behavior. And I actually am very fortunate that I had the wife I had because she saw all of her uncles who had been Vietnam vets.
Right.
And the way that the wife, so she grew up learning how to deal with these guys. And so when I started to have problems, she almost naturally knew how to deal with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so but that's unique. That's not the standard, is it? To tell me how that VA vocational program worked. I mean, because that's also, you didn't go to college to, you didn't have a background in this. Your dad wasn't some doctor, and that you grew up around it. How did you know you wanted to be able to help other vets that way, or
not initially? I actually have a bachelor's degree in ministerial studies from Hope Sound Bible College, which I got after I retired because I wanted to use my GI Bill and get it finished. But after I came back from Kuwait and things were a struggle, and we had a counselor that helped us, and he really inspired me to do the same thing he was doing. But I kind of wanted to focus a little bit more on the veterans, so that got me to being in a position to where I've actually spoken to veterans groups about post-traumatic stress, and also it kind of bleeds into helping first responders as well. I've actually worked with a couple of first responders from the Pulse, incident where the guy went in and killed a bunch of people at the nightclub. So it's come in really handy, and and being a veteran, it actually gives me a unique perspective on being able to understand what's going on with them,
what's going on in the family and the dynamics and everything, so that way I can help them a lot easier.
You know, it's really funny. You and I were talking earlier about guys who come back and tell stories. You can tell they're full of stuff because, you know, guys who really have those experiences don't tell those stories.
Right. They don't want to
at
talk
least
about it.
not to the public. They might tell another vet or
Yes.
something like that. You know, it's funny that I had a friend that calls it a wolf always recognizes another wolf.
That's
Right?
interesting.
It's true, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you and I clicked right away, and I think
Yes.
that was part of it, right? We knew we had a common ground. Let me shift gears a little bit here. You know, you have a ministry helping others, first responders and vets with PTSD. PTSD is widely acceptable, and we now know you don't have to go to combat,
Right.
you know, to get it. So we're talking about trauma to some degree. Is that part of what makes people, because we brought you on to help us get through the holidays.
Right.
Is that part of what makes people crazy? What makes people crazy at the holidays?
Well, like you were mentioning about trauma, trauma is actually relative to the person going through it. So it doesn't have to be a shooting or an IED or a car accident. It can be something as simple as finding out that a loved one is not really who you thought they were for the majority of your life.
Now, you're not talking about that natural realization that we have when we hit our
Right.
late teens and 20s that our parents are human.
Yes.
You're not talking about
finding
that.
out the skeletons in the closet that like, oh no, I never knew this. Wow. I don't know if I can ever forgive them. And also things that happen in our lives. And I'll take me, for example. My father passed away in 2002, right before Thanksgiving. Like maybe a week at most. So the few years after that, my wife would recognize that, you know, I was behaving differently. And it was because of my dad, you know, because you come into this time frame, even though it's like 2, 3, 4 years later, and you're still having these behaviors and you don't even recognize you're doing it. So that was the traumatic experience of losing my dad, because it was sudden. It wasn't anything that we knew was coming. It was all of a sudden, wow, he's gone. So working through that's actually helped me to be able to sit down and talk about it. And so those things happen, you know, loss of loved ones, changes in life, you know, like maybe a divorce around Christmas or something like that.
Do you know, I was just about to ask that question, because I know there was a point in my life 10, 12 years ago that I had some problems and I got help, and now I was theoretically healthy, and I had these fantasies about how the holidays were going to play out, and I found myself, especially in that first holiday after the change, making everybody around me crazy. And I was fortunate enough to have a family that understood, and a close circle of friends that I could call when I was getting really upset. And you know, they were able to give me that perspective. You know, now I can look back and say, well, you know, I had gone from being the awful person I was to the person I wanted to be, providing this great experience. And, you know, nobody else was like, you know, because they were all humans too. They were just trying to enjoy the holidays. They weren't coming along with Dad's fantasy. you know? Can that make people nuts, or am I unique in that?
No, you're not unique.
Just some sort of a drastic change.
Yes, drastic changes can do it. And like you said, you had a good support group around you that was able to help and kind of absorb some of the craziness.
Well, they were able to tell me I don't control everything. It was just somehow I knew that, but I needed somebody to say, you know, Joe, those things, you can't control anybody else.
Right.
You know.
Exactly. And that's where a lot of people have some trouble. They want to control everything around them. And in reality, we cannot. We cannot control everything.
Yeah.
We can only control ourselves and our responses to what goes on around us, either our environment or what somebody else has said to us. And the way that it impacts us, more often than not, it's something with us, not necessarily something with them. And maybe the tone was a little bit different or whatever. And what we have to do in those cases is be able to say, okay, wait a minute, what's going on? Why am I feeling like this? And examine what's really underneath it. Like, oh wow, yeah, I missed this person.
Let me ask you
person.
something. A lot of people in that spot would suddenly want to be able to have this. I mean, you know, it's Thanksgiving, right? It was the day before, day after day of. And suddenly they recognize this, and now they want to have some big emotional confrontation with everybody.
Right.
You're not talking about that. You're talking about being able to come away aside and say, maybe with a trusted family member,
Yes.
or a friend on the phone, be able to say,
Right.
hey, I'm doing this, and I think it's this.
Mm-hmm.
Am I stupid? Am I crazy?
Right.
It's so often I think the holidays get ruined because people try to use, because they don't get around those people much, and then they try to use that
Right.
as a chance to air all their laundry. That may not be the appropriate time, correct?
Exactly. And some of it may even have to do something that they're holding on to, a grudge or something from that individual. When they see him, it's just like,
It may have happened at a holiday, right?
May have happened at
The
a
fight
holiday.
we had back in 1984.
Yeah, and I'm still upset about it.
Right.
And the other person's looking at you like,
They didn't even
I don't
know they
even
upset
remember
you.
this. What are you talking about? So, yeah.
That time you had too much to drink. Do you know, it's funny too, because many times that colors not just that relationship, right? I mean,
Yes.
if I'm anticipating seeing that guy and I'm upset because he hit on my girlfriend 20 years ago, but I'm married to somebody completely different, but I'm still upset that cousin dummy, got drunk and hit him. I mean, it affects my relationships with everybody else around the holiday, correct? Now, nobody's looking forward to being at the holiday because I'm going to be the jerk, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of times subconsciously that's what's going on, and you're not even thinking about it. It's just driving that grudge or whatever to bring those feelings up, and you're wondering, like, why am I feeling like this around Joe? And it's like, oh yeah, that's right.
Let me ask you this. Can you give us a couple of simple tips that if we feel it ramping up, or we find ourselves in the, observing the shouting match, can you give us a few tips to get us through
Right.
the holiday? I tend to think personally, and tell me if I'm wrong, that Thanksgiving is probably worse than Christmas, because Thanksgiving tends to assemble more people, right? It's at least in my family, we tend to be more assembled as a whole than we are. That's when you hear 27 people coming to the house, right? Christmas tends to be a little more intimate.
Christmas does tend to be a little more intimate, and also you still got some of the same, families really come together at Christmas rather than Thanksgiving. So the holidays really it's a big thing of family and friends and all of this. And some tips, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling rejected, these things a lot of people will hold inside until they explode. And some of the good things to do, one is exercise, right? Diet can actually help your mental health with dealing with people. It can help to calm things. And I know some people will go, what, a diet? Yes, eating properly can do that. Whenever you're ramped up on sugar, that's probably not the best time to be approaching somebody with something. And I mentioned exercise, but also even getting outside and going for a walk, getting out in the sunlight and going for a walk down by the lake where it's nice and peaceful can also help your mental state whenever it comes to dealing with things. So those are some. And also, if you're feeling really, really ramped up or anxious or depressed, go seek help.
I would also say that, I mentioned having a friend. I would like to add that, I have found a lot of great value that if I'm going to be in a situation I know is stressful with people I know is going to punch my ticket, that I will prepare. I mean, my wife and I, and even when she is, we're both in situations, so we'll have a code word, that we can use, drop in a conversation that's not normal, lets the other one know, okay, I need a few minutes with you outside, or we need to move out of here. But also to set up.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Set up some accountability, someone that you can talk to, whether it's a counselor or a trusted friend or a mentor, somebody that will expect your call if you're starting to feel a little squirrely. I know we have your website here. We've shown this a couple of times. If you could walk us through this a little bit.
Okay. So, we've got the main page, and it kind of scrolls, but then there's some about me and some of the services. It also lays out what insurance that I take. And
Oh, you do? You take
yes,
insurance. Great.
I am in network
Great.
with Cigna, but I do take Blue Cross, United out of network,
Great.
and TRICARE out of network as well. And I'm also a VA choice provider.
Boy, your wife is on the ball. She's
Yes.
already got us up there.
Yes.
I love her.
She is on it.
We should have her consult with all of our guests. This is also your Facebook page?
Yes.
Um,
Yep. So like yesterday, we did the Veterans Day thank you. We did it for all three of our Facebook pages for the ministry, the training, and the counseling.
Great. Great. Something else is, as it occurs to me, don't discount. I know that the Work It Out counseling started as Work It Out Ministries.
Yes.
And so don't discount the ability of prayer
Oh,
to
absolutely
ramp
not.
you down, and
Yeah.
again, that trusted family member you can pull in the
Right.
other room and say, hey,
Yep. Let's pray.
cousin idiot is driving me crazy. Can
Yeah.
you pray for me?
And a
can
good
I
thing,
pray for you?
Yeah, and a good thing to do too is before you go into those situations that is going to be stressful, is pray before you go.
Right.
So that way, that can also help to calm you down. And if I can, real quick, you had asked about Work It Out Ministries and counseling. My youngest son actually is the one that came up with the name.
Oh, no
Because we
kidding.
were trying to think about it, and he goes, "Why don't you just call it Work It Out?" I was like, "What?" He goes, "Well, think about it, Dad." He says, "You have to work out your own salvation. You have to work out whenever you're training." He says, and he said, "It's not your solution for your clients that come in, so they have to work out their own solution in counseling."
Do you know, John? One of the things I thought that was so cool about the concept is it's one of those things that once you hear about it, it's such a natural idea.
Yes.
But I've never heard about it.
Right.
I've never known anybody that put the two together, which makes it unique and a great idea. We were just talking about the prayer and that. Here on the show, we talk all the time about praying for those people
Yes.
that are making you crazy. And I love that idea of praying before you get into the situation
Yep.
because it makes you hyper aware.
Right.
And it activates whatever your faith structure is.
Mhm.
It activates God
Yes.
for you, but it also makes you hyper aware. So you might not get sucked into that. You might not
Right.
make that comment you probably shouldn't make.
Yep.
And
And also, if you're being aware of how you're feeling, it also tends to tone down whatever reaction
Right.
you might think.
Right.
And people I would like to include that people should remember when you react, that's involuntary. Involuntary when somebody says something or does something. When you respond, that's you thinking about what's the best way to approach this.
Being proactive instead
Yes.
of reactive, right?
Exactly.
Look, this is your camera right over here. I would like
Yes.
you to look in there, say any last word. We're running out of time as
Okay.
usual. Say any last words you'd want to say, and tell people how to get in touch with you if
Yes.
if they'd like to maybe be proactive about this, if they know something's going on and they'd like to enjoy it. Maybe they haven't enjoyed the holidays for some years, and,
Right.
and there's a chance they can. So.
Yeah. Well, you can find my website at www.workitoutmhcounseling.com, and the phone number is 407-949-0214. If you're suffering from trauma or any traumatic events, I'm actually deal with a lot of trauma. I'm trained in accelerated resolution therapy and certified in reconciliation of traumatic memories. And I do want to encourage people that when you go into the holiday season, because environment is going to be difficult, to prepare yourself before you go out, before you go shopping. Black Friday is coming. People get really crazy on Black Friday, so prepare mentally before you walk into the store. And if you don't get the last toy for your kid for Christmas, it's okay. There's another toy. The kid probably will not remember that, oh, I didn't get that.
This is actually very good advice. I know that all the years and all the kids I raised, that
Yes.
hardly any of them remember the thing that I waited up till, I went to the line at midnight to
Right.
wait 7 hours for the store to open. What they
Yeah.
remember is the Frisbee game after dinner, or
Yes.
the experience of eating the cinnamon buns that we worked together
Right.
to make, that sort of thing.
And the thing you stayed up all night waiting to get, they tore into it and they were like, ooh, where's the next toy?
Yeah. Well, they played it with it and broke it a week later. Right. Do you know, I actually have this theory that Black Friday is not what it used to be because of online, and people blame online, but I think that online became popular because Black Friday wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
You know, my wife and I
That would make sense.
My wife and I used to go out Black Friday, people in line. It wasn't confrontational. It was everybody was in the same boat trying to get deals to bless their kids, and it changed somewhere along the line. Anyways, well, we've run out of time, and I'm sure I've gone over. Jay isn't tapping his wristwatch yet, but he will be soon. I want to say thank you, John.
Thank you.
Once
Appreciate
again,
it.
fascinating. I love learning more about people, and we actually have a business leaders lunch today. We'll be leaving from here. Today's Tuesday.
Yeah, Thursday.
Thursday we have that lunch.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, what's wrong with my head? Today is Tuesday. Well, I knew it was Tuesday. I just got the leaders lunch day wrong. So I'll be seeing John on Thursday. I want to say thank you. Look, if you know anybody that should be a guest on Joe Knows South Lake, please reach out to me. You know the information. If you know anybody that should be advertising, and you should be advertising on Joe Knows South Lake, reach out to me. You can support the station, support all the good community work we do, and brand your business at the same time for a very low relative cost to any other kind of advertising. There's nothing wrong with that. Finally, I would like to remind you that there is greatness inside you. And as John has used his greatness to bring out the greatness in others and help people suffering, you can do the same. Dare to show your greatness today and bring out the greatness in others. I'll see you tomorrow, and I love you. My name is Joe. 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Lake County with our 4 young children and settled down. In that time, we've worked, worshiped, played, and raised our family. Today, I've met the people and discovered the businesses and organizations that make up a vibrant, dynamic community. Join us as we share with you what makes South Lake great. I'm Joe, and Joe Knows South Lake. Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors: